This week on The Chef's Line, the professionals from Brisbane restaurant Montrachet are set to take on 4 home cooks who think they've got what it takes to beat them at their own game.
And listen, I'm here to win, for sure.
The home cooks will showcase their best take on French cuisine as they battle against Montrachet's chain of command, starting with the apprentice chef right up to the head chef.
If you're not trained to cook French cuisine, it's difficult.
It's the ultimate food fight to discover if delicious home-cooked meals
That is the sound of happiness.
can beat the refinement of a restaurant dish.
Absolutely spectacular.
Judged by executive chef Dan Hong, renowned chef Mark Olive, and food writer Melissa Leong.
Let's cook.
Good luck.
Which home cook has what it takes to make it to the end of the chef's line? Vive la France.
Bonjour.
It's French Week in the Chef's Line kitchen, and 4 new home cooks have come to pit their culinary skills against a professional team from a leading French restaurant.
Doesn't get any better than this.
First up, Stéphane,
Hi guys, welcome to my kitchen.
a passionate French national who brought his love of cooking to Australia.
Just a few nibbles here.
I love coming here. Thank you for lunch. Thanks, Yvonne.
Assistant venue manager and mum from WA, Jess,
Whipping up some profiteroles.
I admire beautiful food.
Beautiful.
quirky and lovable Dutch-born Leon,
The bigger the challenge, the more I like it. Voila.
and Colette from Queensland,
Yeah, it looks really good.
whose love of travel kick-started her love of cooking.
Once you start to taste French food, you want more of it.
Good evening. This week is all about French cuisine. Home cooks, you're about to face off against a fabulous French restaurant.
So who's ready to cook some great food here tonight?
We're going to try.
Leon, you keen?
Yes, absolutely.
Stefan?
Yes, ready?
Jess, you ready to take down Colette up here?
Well, it's time to put your French cooking skills to the test. I'd like to introduce you to your competition, Brisbane's Montrachet.
Oh, that's great.
Wow.
Restaurant Montrachet sits at the forefront of the French dining scene in Brisbane,
1 spaghetti, 1 soufflé, 1 snail.
where modern techniques meet well-known French classics. In charge, owner and head chef Shannon Kellam,
Enjoy, thank you.
whose dedication to the craft led him to twice represent Australia in the Culinary Olympics team.
Very keen to try this. Oh, that's lovely, isn't it?
Having a baked dessert is always important to us.
Warms your soul.
With a commitment to technique and excellence in French cuisine, the team from Montrachet will be hard to beat.
Shannon, would you mind introducing us to your chef's line, starting with your most junior chef, all the way up to you as head chef and owner?
Sure. First, commis chef, Tara, or in Australia, junior chef. Next is Tom, chef de partie, if in Australia you may say station chef. And next, sous chef is Jamie. And myself, chef patron, and my name is Shannon.
First to cook this week is your junior chef, Tara. Please step up.
Tara, you look a bit scared of the competition out here.
4 of them wanted me, so the odds are against them at the moment.
Obviously, I don't know junior chef Tara, but it's quite obvious that I have at least 50 years more experience. If that pulls me over the line, we'll see later.
And now for this challenge, what we would like to see is your version of Bouillabaisse.
Wow. Yeah. Great.
Bouillabaisse is a classic fisherman's feast from Marseille, a seafood celebration traditionally made with a range of fish and crustaceans, and served with rouille, a luscious saffron and garlic-flavoured sauce on toasted bread. Tonight's blind tasting judge is Dan.
Awesome.
Dan will decide tonight's winning plate without seeing who made it, a home cook or junior chef Tara.
You all have 90 minutes, so bon chance, and let's cook.
Good luck.
What's most important about a good bouillabaisse is the variety of fish you use. You have to use at least 3 different types of fish, also some prawns, some crabs, whatever you've got. You've got to really concentrate those flavours really get that flavour into the bouillabaisse.
Bouillabaisse. Bouille, it means when it's boiling, and baisse means you have to lower the heat.
So the very first step is to make the fish stock or the fish fumé.
I wanted to make my own stock because it is an essential part of the bouillabaisse.
These things are massive. So that's the first thing. You need to get some fresh fish, chop them up, mix them with some fennel, some celery, some onion, some garlic, and get them to stew for like 20-30 minutes to get all the flavors going.
If it is not enough flavor, this is where things can go wrong. So you really have to make sure you packed a lot of fish, lots of shell, anything you can get to get that seafood.
It is the base of the recipe, because if you don't have the fish taste, you don't have a bouillabaisse.
It's humongous. This is the bit I don't like about the bouillabaisse. All the raw fishy bits. Oh, no. Bouillabaisse is my scary dish, that's for sure. Bouillabaisse is a dish my husband loves, but I've never made it for him as much as I love him. It's so fishy, and I really don't like strong fishy things. This is a challenge dish for me. And I'm just making the vegetables now because I'm going to be creating my own stock in the pressure cooker, so that should be good. Smells good. I'm going to try and give my stock a lot of fishy substance. And I did it in a pressure cooker to try and get maximum flavour out in that short amount of time. You need to allow time for it to emerge and to reduce. If it doesn't reduce, you're not going to get that flavour.
Well, I think I have a bit of a deconstructed bouillabaisse. I don't like all this messy stuff. Well, I have a different version of bouillabaisse, and I made it a Léon base. That's why I make my stock, and then I fry the fish all separate, so they have all the individual flavors, and then assemble it in the end. Obviously, the key ingredient is the fish stock. I choose some salmon. The salmon should make it sweet. Then added all the vegetables, carrots, leek, celery, tomato, fennel, of course, and you nearly forgot a little bit of garlic. Just mix it. I think I'm probably quite unique with my bouillabaisse. Time will tell.
Yes, a bouillabaisse with a roux. I'm very excited about that.
I'm making a traditional bouillabaisse with snapper, mussels and prawns. I didn't make my own stock because I wasn't sure if I'd have the time to be able to make the bouillabaisse if I was to make the stock myself. Cooking the fish is probably the hardest, making sure you get everything cooked at the correct time. The fish is what I want to nail the most. Fish cook different times, so you have to make sure you get the timing correct. Your prawns aren't going to cook at the same time as a fillet of fish will.
I'm making Montrachet's version of Bouillabaisse, and what makes it special is that we make all the stocks from scratch. Making the Bouillabaisse is like building a house. You have to start off the foundation. So in this dish, we start off by making a fish stock. We also make a Spanish crab stock as well. With the stocks, we want to try and get the individual flavours of each one. This one is the fish frames to go in for the fish stock. So what we do, we just chop them up, add them into the cold water with the vegetables. So leek, celery and the fennel. Chopped tomato, a bit of the white wine. We added about 2 litres of water to that. And then we just bring them up to the boil. And with the Spanish crab stock, it's the same vegetables, but we're adding Spanish crab legs.
That's enough.
So how are you feeling with the boss over your shoulder?
A little bit of pressure.
I'm a very competitive person. I always expect big things of Tara, and I'm sure she'll give it a good crack.
I've probably made this dish once or twice. I usually just help plate up. It might be a little bit tricky. Once the 2 stocks have combined, we blitz it up and then strain it.
Taste.
When I tasted the broth, I was a bit like, I'm not sure if this is meant to taste like this at all. And then you just have to like stand still for a second and be like, okay, you're a chef, just freaking cook. All good. Just do what you do for 12 hours every day.
Keep cooking.
You have 45 minutes left until you need your plates on the pass.
It's the first night of French Week, and our 4 home cooks are taking on junior chef Tara of Brisbane restaurant Montrachet. Each is making their own version of the classic French seafood dish, bouillabaisse. And with their stocks underway...
No, it's good, it's getting there.
Everyone turns their attention to the accompaniment, roux.
A roux, it's not a mayonnaise, it's not an aioli, it's kind of its own thing.
and start making my rouille. The rouille I made as a traditional way with garlic, egg yolks, olive oil, and cayenne pepper, and put some tomato paste in. Of course, a bit of the saffron.
I just added a pinch of the saffron to it. I didn't really want it to have a strong saffron taste to it because you don't really want to like override bouillabaisse, you just want to complement it.
I'm worrying about the time a little bit here.
It can get dry, the fish, you know, I was a bit scared of that.
So I want to get a move on to make sure I finish on time because this is the first challenge, so
I need to get this right.
Stefan, you're moving at the speed of light.
So what needs to happen at the moment, we still need to grind all this to extract the final flavors. That fishy taste, you get it from the bones, I always say. So mashing everything, crushing everything, that's where it happens.
Good luck. I'll leave you to your last half an hour.
Thank you very much.
It's a bit of a noisy process, like, but it has to be done.
Okay, that will do. What I'm trying to do here is to sieve everything, to filter my mix, to extract the maximum of flavor that I can. This would be enough.
After reducing a little bit, it was good.
Oh, the actual pressure cooker stock was ready, so I drained that off. I'm gonna just pour these in here. And I got that into a pot to try and reduce that as much as I could. Once that was done, I started on the fish, which goes into that soup.
Colette.
Hello.
What seafood are you using?
I've got some beautiful mussels and some clams.
Not just for Italian cooking, but for French as
French
well.
cooking too. And then I've got some snapper fillets and some scallops and some prawns. So hopefully it'll all come together. With bouillabaisse, timing is everything. It's really a timeline, and if you kind of miss that timeline, you're going to end up with chewy fish that's really not very pleasant. It's such a shame I'm cooking a dish I personally don't love, but my husband would be very happy because he adores this dish.
This is the things we do for love,
Exactly,
so Colette.
exactly. French, amour, love, you know, you got to do these things.
The stock was too bitter. I had hoped that the soup would be slightly sweeter, so I knew I was in difficulty. But the fish is actually not a problem. I'm marinating my fish. So I have the prawns, but I marinate in olive oil and garlic. And is there any more power in the house? Got it. The scallops, I did on a sweet chili sauce to give them completely different flavor. Bit of Leon in the dish, yes. Then I have the fish or the snapper, and I just put a little bit of pepper on it. Now I have to start with my mussels. Mussel powder. I purposely cook them separately to get distinctive, different flavors and what should come out within the soup.
When you get the bones out of the fish, I don't want to be the cause of someone's death. Fish cook different times, so you've got to make sure you don't overcook one and undercook another. I put the fish in before I put the prawns and mussels because the fish takes longer to cook, especially the prawns. The prawns only need a minute in there. I was very confident that I wasn't going to overcook it. I got this.
5 types of seafood that we put in our bouillabaisse is cold trout, prawns, the cuttlefish, the clams, and the scallops. We usually start off with putting the prawns and the fish in first, followed by the cuttlefish and then the scallops right at the end, just so that they're not overcooked, they're just slightly done.
You have 5 minutes to go.
You need to start plating, Sue.
I burned my toast.
1 minute.
Feel that pressure.
Guacamole.
Stefan, 20 seconds. Well done.
Good job, Sue.
Four home cooks and junior chef Tara from French restaurant Montrachet have just created their best versions of bouillabaisse. And now blind tasting judge Dan will try each dish. He doesn't know which was made by a home cook or by the restaurant.
Hey, Dan.
Wow. smells great.
This dish, snapper and clam bouillabaisse.
Well, it looks very inviting. It looks like something you'd find in a restaurant. I want to tuck in for sure. That's a very, very nice bouillabaisse. The amount of seafood in there, it's crazy. There's clams, there's mussels, there's prawns.
And there's fish as well. I mean, there's almost so much seafood in there that you can hardly see the broth.
The roux could have a little bit more seasoning. The broth is nice. It's not smacking me in the face with fish flavour.
The liquid was all pressure cooked with the ingredients in it, so...
You don't get the reduction from a pressure cooker because there's nowhere for the liquid to escape. And what you want with a bouillabaisse, as it's boiling when you're making the stock, the flavour concentrates. In my opinion, I think the soup needs to be reduced a little bit further just to concentrate those flavours.
Dan, this is snapper and prawn bouillabaisse.
The presentation's very pretty. You've got really good quality seafood.
Oh, that's not a good face.
Look, it's a really nice take on a roux. I really like the freshness of it. I thought the seafood was cooked absolutely perfectly. It's just that I thought the soup let it down. The flavour of the fish was not pronounced enough.
This is a spanner crab and prawn bouillabaisse.
This looks beautiful. It looks really extravagant. I can see all that seafood on top. It smells great. This roux almost looks like more like a mayonnaise or an aioli rather than a roux.
I really like the generosity of seafood. You want options.
Yeah, you want to get in there and dig around.
What are you fishing for in there?
He needs a rod.
The flavour of the bouillabaisse is delicious. Even though it's quite an intense stock, it's subtle at the same time. I really get that fishy, saffrony flavour to it, but then it's still quite light, which I really enjoy. This roux, on the other hand, is not a roux, it's an olive oil mayonnaise. It's nice, but I would have preferred a roux, a classic roux. Those scallops, those prawns, they were all perfectly cooked. This bouillabaisse is pretty damn good.
Dan, this is a scallop, prawn and mussel bouillabaisse.
This looks very rustic on the presentation side of things. Okay. That soup has a really nice colour.
I'm sensing a but.
There is a but, and the but is that the soup doesn't have enough flavour. It's quite watery, to be quite honest. Even though these other elements are really delicious, and the roux is quite nice as well, and the bread nicely toasted, that broth needed more concentration.
They marinated their scallops in sweet chilli sauce.
What?
Look at your head exploding right now.
Yeah, I don't know if it worked.
This is a monkfish and mussel bouillabaisse.
I don't think I've tried a bouillabaisse with cheese on it. That's a very solid bouillabaisse. It's very solid. You can tell that they blended everything up and passed it. You know, it's not just the broth. I love the addition of cheese. I love this roux. I mean, I would have loved maybe a prawn, a scallop, a clam.
I love it. It's like, would it kill you to put a prawn in there?
Yeah, I mean, look. It's a very delicious bowl of bouillabaisse.
Well, Dan, you've tasted 5 bouillabaisses on the pass this evening, 4 from our really passionate French home cooks and 1 from our junior chef, Tara. You've got quite the decision to make.
Our home cooks and junior chef Tara have served up 5 very different bowls of the French classic Bouillabaisse. Judge Dan has tasted all 5 and is ready to announce who created tonight's best plate on the pass.
Look, 5 very different bouillabaises on the pass. It was a really hard decision for me.
So how do you all think you went?
Well, I think there's some stunning presentation. I can't look into the flavors, but that's where your judges have a job, you know?
Shannon, surprised by the competency of these guys, the home cooks?
I am actually, yeah. It makes us, as professionals, more humble to see people come here and put themselves out of their comfort zone and to cook as they've done. It's really good to see. So I congratulate all of them.
Dan, for you tonight, which is the best plate on the pass?
Well, my favourite dish not only had that real depth of flavour, that seafood flavour, but it also had that refinement and finesse. And for that reason, the best plate on the pass is this one. Who did that?
Me.
It's really, really delicious.
Thank you.
You managed to get all that flavour into that stock. The saffron, the seafood was all perfectly cooked. I love the scallops were like perfectly cooked, and the presentation was absolutely, you know, spectacular. Well done.
Thank you.
And Dan, of the remaining plates on the pass, which didn't stack up to your expectations this evening?
The plate that didn't really meet my expectations was this one here.
Oh. That's it.
Is that really on?
C'est la vie.
The seafood was really perfectly cooked, and the roux was absolutely delicious too. It's just, if there was just one tip, I would have, you know, maybe reduced the stock a little bit more to concentrate those flavours.
I agree. The stock let me down. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I'm so sorry, Leon, that means you are going home this evening, but we wanted to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for bringing such colour and vibrancy to the kitchen on the first night of French Week.
It's a bit sad that I'm the first one, but that's what life is all about.
Congratulations to Restaurant Montrachet for bringing us the best plate on the pass this evening.
Fantastic. French Week only gets tougher for our remaining home cooks. French-born Stéphane.
So French food for me is so important. When you look at all the styles of cooking in the world, you will see that French food is always at the core, all the techniques and things like that.
Oh my God, yum!
Dinner party lover Colette.
I love my walk-in pantry.
Cooking is what I do to really chill out and relax. I just lose myself in my kitchen.
And mother of one Jess.
When I first started cooking, I used it for my creativity. So that's when I started to cook French food because it just looked the most beautiful.
All of our home cooks are taking on the chef's line from award-winning French restaurant Montrachet, led by owner and head chef Shannon Kellum.
And you order 1 soufflé on mains, 2 200-gram filet. Good bread is a real cornerstone for French cooking.
Shannon has developed a menu that takes a modern approach to classic French cuisine.
It's like a perfect apple pie with so much else going on.
Classical French cuisine is very renowned for building layers of flavours through the dishes.
Shannon's culinary expertise and competitive drive will make Montrachet hard to beat.
This looks so beautiful. So fine. It's like a whisper on your tongue.
Good evening and welcome back to the Chef's Line. This week we are celebrating French cuisine. Who's feeling confident tonight? Head chef Shannon, last night junior chef Tara cooked. Who's next in the chef's line to cook tonight?
Next in the line is Tom, our station chef.
Station chef Tom, it's time to step up and represent your restaurant.
So Tom, how are you feeling?
A little bit nervous, but give it a good crack.
And now for the dish you're going to cook tonight. It's a French classic, some would say quite a risky dish. We want to see your best twice-cooked soufflé.
A twice-cooked soufflé is a technical masterpiece involving a base of bechamel sauce mixed gently with stiff egg whites and cooked until the mixture rises and just sets. For the second cook, the soufflé magically rises again in all its glory.
So the best soufflé will be judged by one of us, and that judge tonight will be Melissa.
Excellent. I do hope you rise to the occasion.
Melissa will taste and judge all of the dishes, not knowing if it was plated by a home cook or a professional chef.
You have 90 minutes. Let's cook.
Good luck.
Thank you.
So today I'm gonna make a Comté cheese twice baked soufflé with a cream, thyme and pancetta sauce. Comté is my favorite French cheese. It's very nutty flavor. So the soufflé, there's two parts. There's the technical aspect of it, on how to make the basic soufflé. And then for the rest, that's kind of my take on it. The first step is to make a bechamel sauce. Oh, bechamel, it's a white sauce, like a thick white sauce with a nice little taste of nutmeg and a bay leaf in it. So just a nice little taste, but not too much. You don't want to overdo it.
I'm making a twice-baked goat's cheese and parmesan soufflé. I don't feel 100% with this dish. It's not one of my strongest points, but time will tell, I guess. First thing I started was my bechamel. So I started to infuse my milk with different flavors, some cloves, garlic, onion. Then I began to do my roux to be able to create my bechamel. The bechamel, firstly, is my son's favorite thing to eat ever. He will eat anything you put in front of him if it has bechamel sauce with it. Now making it into the soufflé, I think that's where I would freak out in regards to it rising properly and not sinking again.
Tonight, I'm baking a double cheese, double baked soufflé. I'm most worried about making it nice, light and airy, and not making it too dense, but I need body in the roux because it needs to stand up and rise up nice and proud. I used to cook cheese soufflé back in the 80s for dinner parties, and my friends loved it. But there was this mad panic every time because I'd be at the oven, they'd be in the lounge, and then it would start to rise, and I'd say, come on, everyone, get round that table. But of course, then we'd sit down, and it had deflated. And then I discovered a twice-baked, fantastic. I wish I knew about them in the 80s.
As our home cooks get on with their bechamel sauce, Station Chef Tom is nervously taking on Montrachet's version of soufflé.
So I'm making the twice-baked soufflé that we do at Montrachet. That's a crab soufflé with a prawn and crab bisque, or a seafood bisque, with Gruyere, and yeah, it's probably one of the more popular dishes. I'm a little bit nervous. To make the soufflé, we would make a bechamel. Then I'd put the cheese in last.
More cheese, more cheese, more cheese, more cheese. More cheese.
Basically, if something's out like an egg or out of flour or whatever, you're going to find out about it later.
Don't let your pot get too hot for the butter, Tom.
Take that off the heat and then add in my yolk and the crab and then make a meringue and then slowly fold that through.
What are you up to now? Which stage are you up to now?
So basically, I'm just going to get the soufflés in, and then once they're done, just crack onto the bisque.
Well, you've got the three home cooks in front of you. You've got the head chef, Shannon, eyeing you down like an eagle. No pressure, mate.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Half an hour gone, now it's head down and go. Yeah? Yep. You should be settled in now. Go, go, go.
Dan, pretty full on in here at the moment. They're going for the clappers.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, there's so many things that could go wrong. They've got to whip those egg whites really well, really get that air in, and really fold them in really lightly so they don't knock out too much of that air.
The trick to folding is not to mix too much and you need to have that rotation, like that circular motion. You have to gently incorporate. The ramekins, you need to have coat them with butter and then flour so it doesn't stick. That's an important step. And then you pour your mix in your ramekin. They need to cook for about 25 minutes. So that's the first bake, 25 minutes. And bang, in the oven. And then you have to wait for the oven to make its way and, let the soufflé raises.
The most important elements with a double cheese soufflé is whisking up the egg whites and then getting it all together in a nice, fluffy state.
It's okay, I'm not panicking at the moment. I'm nearly there, nearly there.
So it's going to rise to the occasion.
One of your fortes or what?
Definitely not one of my fortes. Definitely not. I've made it a couple of times and it's been shambles every time.
What's worrying you then?
Just them rising.
I mean, it's all about the egg whites, you know that.
It is about the egg whites. It is. Maybe I get too excited when I fold them in. That's probably where I'm going wrong.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
It's French week, and our 3 home cooks and station chef Tom are at the delicate stage of waiting for their cheese soufflés to rise.
Come on, you little guys, brown.
Nerves come from a desire to impress blind tasting judge Melissa.
I'm very, very excited.
What are you looking for?
I am looking for light. I'm looking for cheese. I'm looking for deliciousness. And I'm looking for their own little twist. I like subtle looking dishes that just back it up by this punch of flavour.
At the moment, my soufflé are in the oven for the first bake. And for the second bake, I'm starting to prepare to make my sauce.
So the sauce being?
Yes, I'm reducing pure cream.
Right, okay.
I'm going for very classic, simple flavors. So, you know, with a bit of thyme in there and Condé. Typical French. It's my favorite French cheese.
Right, okay.
I like the pancetta. I like this kind of natural saltiness to it. I like strong taste.
Something punchy. Real.
Punchy, nutty.
I'll leave you to it. Good luck.
Thank you.
So my addition to this dish is the seafood bisque.
Now push, Tom, push, push, push. Make it nice, make it nice.
A bisque is a seafood broth, and then normally we would thicken it with beurre meunier, which is equal parts flour and butter. We've got the stock, the tomato, and all the meat.
It'll take a bit longer, Tom.
Yeah, they're getting there. Yep.
The flaky colour cheese.
Just under 30 minutes to go.
My soufflés are rising. I'm keeping an eye on it though. I'm extremely nervous. Extremely nervous. I feel like I'm watching them like a hawk.
So I need to get those to rest, and I had to speed it up a bit in the oven to get it out.
Usually they look a little bit lighter, maybe.
My scary moment was when I took them out of the oven in their little ramekins and I just gave them a couple of minutes to relax. Normally I'd give them more time. Pick them up, palette knife around.
Get them out because they're going to cool faster outside of the little ramekins.
Tipped them into my hand, said a little prayer.
I'm just hoping they will hold together. Yeah, look at that. That's good. That's what I want.
And hey presto, the little creatures just sat there and I thought, you beauty.
Come on, little guys.
They're not rising. They've decided to stay in one spot.
They look risen. They've risen enough.
Does not want to cooperate.
Don't you think they're risen enough?
I was just waiting for the top to go a bit more golden.
I know the feeling.
Because I don't think they're going to do much more. What was going through my head was just hoping they would rise. Hoping and praying they were going to rise. I probably spent too much time staring at them.
Okay, I kept it 10 foot. Oh, it looks all right. I mean, I think it's cooked enough. You don't want to overcook the soufflés because they have to cook again. I had my soufflé, you have to turn them upside down, put my sauce over and cover with cheese, and then put them back in the oven and hope they're gonna puff again.
There's 10 minutes to go. You better think about cooking your soufflé for the second time, or it should be cooking for the second time right now. There's only 10 minutes to go.
They'd risen fairly well. I was probably a little bit worried with the mix just being a little bit wetter than normally what I've done in the past, but can't complain.
Go, Tom. Go, 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 go. Push, 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 push.
Before I put the soufflé in for the second bake, I put the bisque obviously over the top.
Cheese, cheese, oven. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
And then followed by the Gruyere cheese just grated on top.
Yeah, though, the cheese is melting on lots of.
Yeah.
They should have put it back in the fridge, but anyhow.
I hope that it comes out like I wanted it to. I was a bit stressed and nervous at the start, but fingers crossed.
Any concerned about Jess? She hasn't cooked her souffle the second time. They're not rising. She still needs to unmold them and cook them for a second time.
She's probably freaking right now.
But they look nice and golden and cheesy on the top, I must admit.
Yeah, they look good.
I had a bit of a struggle to get them out. I managed to get them out, but unfortunately not in one piece. Oh, it's a bit tacky, but hey, she'll be right. They're called twice baked soufflé, so I had to cook them again. So instead of me putting them in the oven like I would do with the sauce, I just got a pan with some butter and some herbs in there, some bay leaves, and just kind of let them fry off a little bit and then baste them with the butter just to kind of get some flavour and some texture because I didn't have that when they came out.
Beautiful, look at that.
I want to see those soufflés nicely gratinated by now.
They're okay. The actual bits and pieces I've got to go with it to accentuate that cheese taste, like the tomato coulis, the beautiful salad and walnut crunch that's going on top. I think that's going to be great.
Go, Tom.
Remember, just enough, just enough.
One minute, guys. You've got 1 minute to go.
Go, Tom.
Yay.
Well done, Colette. Well done.
It's even wobbling.
Amazing.
Well done, guys. Well done, everyone.
Unfortunately, it did not go to plan. I was hoping it would be fluffy, but it didn't turn out fluffy. But you can only be positive. You can't get anywhere being negative.
Our home cooks and station chef Tom have just created their best version of a twice-baked cheese soufflé. Now Judge Melissa will taste all of them without knowing if it was made by a home cook or by the professional.
You missed a crazy soufflé battle. There was a lot of stress and there was a lot of running around.
Goodness me. This is an interesting lineup of twice-cooked soufflés.
This is the twice-cooked cheese soufflé with a pancetta and thyme sauce.
It looks very classic in its presentation. This is all about celebration of cheese as much as it is about the soufflé. I am very excited.
It's going in.
Oh, that is the sound of happiness. This is strong. This is extremely strong. Could you hear that crunch of the cheese when I broke into it? I mean, the interior is light and fluffy, an absolutely beautiful expression of a twice-cooked soufflé. You have this gorgeous golden crust of cheese on the outside. Then you have this beautiful contrasting texture of airy, light, slightly nutmeg perfumed, interior. I mean, I think the only thing that I could comment on is the pancetta. While it does flavour the cheese beautifully, there's almost a little too much pancetta, but I really like this a lot.
This is twice-cooked goat's cheese soufflé.
Well, I don't think I've ever seen a twice-cooked cheese soufflé that looks exactly like this. I'm sensing maybe, did something go wrong in the cook?
Yeah. The soufflés, not only did they not rise, they also stuck to the mould.
Oh, it is so heartbreaking when that happens. If I didn't know if it was a twice-cooked soufflé, I would think that that looked curious enough for me to want to try. It's a shame that there were some technical hitches in the rising and the sticking of the soufflé because you know what? The actual flavour of the soufflé itself is pretty good. Look, overall, you know what I really love about this dish is the fact that clearly something hasn't worked out, but they've gone the extra mile to still put up a plate of food that looks artful and creative and like something I would want to try.
Melissa, this is twice-cooked blue cheese soufflé.
Well, I love blue cheese. I love the pungency. I love the aroma that it perfumes dishes with.
Ooh, that's very fluffy.
We having a party there, Melissa?
You know what I like about dishes that look a certain way but contradict in flavour? They really surprise you. Someone really understands flavour here. The richness of the blue cheese, the sweet, the sour, the crunchy, the peppery. There was some serious consideration that went into that.
This is a crab and cheese soufflé.
Well, I love the colour. It's so vibrant and orange. It smells wonderful.
Oh, it's nice and soft.
Oh, look at that. Wow. Well, straight off the bat, that's such a huge punch of flavour. It had a lovely crust, which you get from that second baking.
Yes.
You've got the cheese that's melted over the top, and you've got that beautiful outer crust. It was light and fluffy on the inside. It has a great depth of flavour, not only within the soufflé itself, but the crab bisque just packed a huge wallop. Overall, you can smell this thing before you can taste it, and boy, does the taste back it up.
Well, soufflés, it's a tricky one. I think you've got a tricky time ahead deciding who's going to get best plate on the pass.
Tonight, our three home cooks and station chef Tom have thrown their all into creating their best twice-cooked cheese soufflé. Now, blind tasting judge Melissa will deliver her final verdict.
Well, it's the second night of French week, and watching you guys cook off, twice-cooked soufflés are harder than they look.
Jess, how are you feeling?
Good. I just enjoy being in the kitchen, really.
Colette, how are you feeling?
Oh, nervous. Didn't come out quite as my family would enjoy eating it. As always, I worked right up to the last second.
And Shannon, do you think you did enough?
Look, I think it was a big ask for Tom to do our soufflé here within an hour and a half in this environment. One of many reasons I like the guys to come down to do this. They get out of their comfort zone and they'll really learn a lot from it.
Melissa, it's time to tell us which one was your favourite plate on the pass.
Well, tonight, the best plate on the pass for me had to have those crucial elements of a twice-cooked soufflé really bang on. To that end, the best plate on the pass tonight, crab and cheese soufflé. How are you feeling, Tom?
A bit relieved.
You packed so much flavour into one very elegant, very unassuming looking dish, and by gosh, that was a pleasure to eat.
Well done.
Let's just say I was pretty relieved.
Melissa, which plate did not live up to your expectations?
The plate that didn't live up to my expectations was the goat's cheese soufflé.
Well done.
Jess, how are you feeling?
Good. I put it on the plate and it looked pretty, just wasn't puffy.
Sometimes things don't come through the way that you expect them to. I know it didn't rise, but it tasted great.
That's a bonus. I did get eliminated, but all was good. I'm happy to be here, and I'm so happy for the chefs, the home cooks. They're incredible. Like, they deserve to be here.
Sorry, Jess, that means you're going home, but congratulations again to Montrachet. You have another win. Well done, guys.
Congratulations, that's fantastic. Well done.
We're celebrating French cuisine, and we're down to just two home cooks. There's business owner and mother of two, Colette.
I love French cooking.
It doesn't get any better than this.
You know, there's so much to learn. There's new challenges all the time.
Oh, really good.
And she'll have some healthy competition.
The beautiful fishies.
From French-born Stéphane.
Oh my God, yum!
French food for me is so important. When you look at all the styles of cooking in the world, you will see that French food is always at the core.
This some marinière mussels.
Beautiful.
Our home cooks will take on the professionals from Brisbane restaurant Montrachet.
One soufflé, one snails.
Led by head chef and owner Shannon Kellam.
What is classic French cuisine to you?
Making sure that you are keeping the integrity of the fantastic produce that we work very hard to source, and we want to make sure that we are passing on that passion and that work to the customer through our cooking. Enjoy. Thank you. Classical French cuisine is very renowned for building layers of flavours. It's going to bring your palate alive.
Montrachet skillfully combines traditional French techniques with the best Australian produce.
Simply beautiful chicken.
These are the memories with food that you always remember.
Oh, I'm so keen to try this. Oh, look at that, it's so clever. That is delicious.
Good evening and welcome back to the Chef's Line. Home cooks and chefs from Montrachet. It is your love for French cooking that has brought you here tonight.
Colette and Stefan, which of you is the best home cook?
We'll soon find out, I guess.
Head chef Shannon, please tell us who's next to cook tonight.
Okay, next in the line is sous chef Jamie.
How do you rate Jamie's chances tonight?
Better than average. Jamie should do okay, I think.
Sous chef Jamie, it's time for you to show us what you can do.
Why did you start cooking?
It's a bit cliche, really, but my grandfather used to break down all our own cattle and stuff like that, and grandmother used to potter around in a fruit and veg garden and stuff, so I sort of had it all ingrained there from a young age.
Well, home cooks, we want you to cook your best duck, potatoes, and sauce.
Nothing says French more than perfectly cooked duck. The secret is to cook each part in a different way. Breast is lean, so it's best cooked quickly, while the legs and thighs are better slow cooked. Sauces are the cornerstone of French cuisine and take an ordinary ingredient to exquisite heights.
As you know, only one of us will be picking the best plate. To make it fair, they will be blind tasting, so they won't know who cooked what. And tonight, it's Mark.
Can't wait. I better waddle off.
The home cook who impresses Mark the most will move up the chef's line to take on head chef Shannon.
You have 2 hours. Let's cook.
I'm making duck legs or duck Maryland in a citrus sauce with Duchess potatoes. So this recipe is a bit of a mix of a classic, and there's a bit of my own take because it's like a duck à l'orange, but I put lemon and orange with Cointreau. So I'm now preparing all the ingredients for the duck stock, because any sauce in France starts with a stock, and today I'm using duck bones, the vegetables, and that's all gonna go in there. Secret ingredients, I always say a bit of love and passion. So that's home cooking, to be honest. I feel a bit like being in a Chinese restaurant.
So I'm starting off, I'm just doing my base for a good chicken stock. That's going to be for my sauce.
Now tell me, if this dish were on a menu, what would it be described as?
It would be duck breast with a cherry Madeira sauce.
Oh, classic, beautiful.
Very classic, very classic.
And you're using a duck breast as well. What's your plan for them?
What I've decided to do, which I haven't tried before, so it's a bit risky because I'm unfamiliar with this oven.
Yes.
And because duck is so precise.
It is.
I've decided to put it into a pan.
Yep.
And then kind of see and judge it.
Okay.
It's really important to score the duck breast because you don't want it to pull all the fat in. So by scoring it, it's already starting to release, and it's going to release the fat underneath. The duck is definitely in my worry area. I've only ever tried to cook it a couple of times, and that was years ago, and it wasn't very successful. So here we go. This is probably my third attempt, so I hope it's going to work out.
Sous chef Jamie is creating Montrachet's version of duck with potatoes and sauce, which features dauphin potatoes and carrots 3 ways.
To make the duck breast, I just trimmed all the fat off, scored it nicely, and then I made a brine. Just sort of tenderises it for us and just keeps it nice and juicy. So I just put it in the fridge for half an hour, just so it sort of started to tenderise, ready for the pan.
What duck, potatoes, and sauce are you doing tonight?
Brined the duck breast down. Then I've just rolled it and put it into the sous vide bath at 80 degrees for about 20 minutes. Then I'll take it out and let it rest, then I'll render that down.
Sure.
I'm doing pomme dauphine.
So choux pastry mixed with a potato puree, yes?
And in the pot here, I've just braised off some baby carrots, shallot, and a bit of sugar.
Nice.
going to puree some of the carrot down. Then I'm going to shave some and make some carrot chips. The carrots that I put in the large cast iron pot, I added orange juice, carrot juice, red wine vinegar and some sugar. And then it's just like a slow absorption method. They're sucking in that flavour.
Jamie's like the glue that brings everything together. So he's the old dog of the kitchen, if you like. Choux pastry, go, go, go. Just tell the old boy to move.
There are a few essential elements to being able to really nail a great duck dish. What are you looking for?
The duck, it depends on the leg or the breast. The leg, it has to be cooked through well. That fat has to be rendered out of that. Same with the breast. You want that to be juicy. You want it to be crisp on the outside, but also that nice colour through it as well. It's a real fine line, I think, with duck, and how they're going to cook is going to be really essential.
So I'll start to color these into the pan in their natural fat. The method I use to cook my duck, I basically put my duck legs in a pan, cover them with this fresh stock, and I actually braised the duck legs for an hour. The more you cook it for a very long time, then the softer it gets. When you do a duck leg, the flesh should, fall off the bone.
Smells nice, doesn't it? It would be amazing to beat this guy here, but I'm smelling that duck stock and it smells awesome. I'm looking across here at Jamie, he's so organized and steaming ahead with all those beautiful ingredients. But I'm doing what I can do, and I'm just keeping my fingers crossed.
Boy, threw me off my game.
It's home-cooked passion versus restaurant technique as Colette, Stéphane and sous chef Jamie create the French classic, duck with potatoes and sauce.
My potatoes are just about there now, and French love their butter. All of this is going into my potatoes.
They're hoping to impress Mark, who'll be blind tasting their creations.
45 minutes to go. Well, Dan, it's certainly smelling the pot out there.
Well, we've got 3 different styles of cooking. You've got Colette cooking the duck breast from raw in a pan, and you've got the chefs obviously doing a sous vide style and then rendering off the skin at the end. And then you've got Stéphane here braising the legs and then trying to crisp it up at the end under a grill. The breasts, they've got to be nice and pink.
Absolutely.
The leg, it's got to be nice and tender.
And the skin needs to be nice and crisp. No rubbery, chewy bits of skin there either.
Okay, I've just turned the ducks over, so I'm just making sure that the colour, as it rises, is going to try and hit that right point. I haven't cooked them in a pan before, but I'm liking the control that I've got.
I've prepared my juice for the sauce. So tonight I made a citrus sauce, which is a derivative of the orange sauce. So it's like duck stock reduced, and you combine it with a gastric, which is made of a caramel, sugar, and vinegar. And on this you add Cointreau, orange juice, and lemon juice. So quite a complex sauce. There's some good taste in there.
I think everyone knows that fruit and duck are just beautiful together. So whether it's oranges, in my case it's cherries. So I've got my shallots, so I'm going to add in some vintage Madeira. Set light to it. And that's going to get rid of all that beautiful alcohol. After it had cooled, I added in my chicken stock. And then the cherries with that kind of acidity coming through. Oh, yum.
I don't see any sauce on the go. What's the deal?
I will. It'll be there. It'll all come together at the end.
You worried at all about these 2 talented home cooks?
There's some good flavours coming from over there, making me a bit hungry and a little bit worried.
You've already had 2 wins. How much pressure?
Oh, plenty of
The
work,
sous
mate. I'll never
chef.
hear the end of it.
Okay, well, I'll leave you to it.
No
Good
worries.
luck.
Thanks, buddy. It's time to move on and make the sauce. First up, I made a caramel in the bottom of the pan, and then I deglazed it with some red wine and some red wine vinaigrette. That just gives it that little sharp twang with that beautiful succulent duck.
So I'm preparing my Duchess potatoes. When the mash is ready, it's mixed with butter, eggs. Then I have to put them in a piping bag, detail them in little star-shaped kind of things. Because when you think of mash or boiled potatoes or anything like it, it sounds a bit like simple. So I would just wanted to take it the extra mile. Because, you know, it looks nice, tastes nice, it's a bit fancy.
I've never actually had Duchess potatoes before because they are so old school.
Yeah, they're really
old. Very, very old school.
Yeah, it's a bit old. Yeah, what can go wrong is that I need to get the timing right when they go out of the oven because they cool down very quickly.
Jamie, you got about 10 to 15 minutes to have choux pastry out on a tray cooling.
So to make the pomme dauphine, I put the potatoes in the water, brought up from cold until not overdone, but just so they pass nicely through the drum sieve. And to that, I added 1 egg yolk, a little bit of salt. And for the choux pastry, water, butter, milk. As soon as all that came to the boil, I just put the flour in there and just worked it. And then I mixed equal parts of the potato and the choux pastry together. So it gives you a bit of body and sort of expands it. And that's why when I quenelled it into the oil, they just floated on the top.
Okay, I'm going to cut through this duck now. There's always concerns racing through your mind, you know, have I actually taken it out at just that right moment? Was it too soon? So your kind of fingers and toes are always crossed. That's good.
Comes out too cooked. I know it's hard to judge. I'm never too good at judging when it comes to duck legs. And I'm just gonna put them a little bit in the grill. I was worried because, you know, I didn't know if actually, was this the actual, you know, great way of cooking a duck leg? 11 minutes. The grill is very hot, dry things up very quickly. I want to wait like 5 minutes, but it's gonna be all last minute in the grill, on the plate, plating, so pressure is on.
Here it is. This is his money for jam, eh? This is where he shines. Start pushing now.
You have 5 minutes to go until we need your plates on the pass.
5 minutes. Let's give them a little spaghetti.
The heart's beginning to pound in the chest.
My piece of duck could have been undercooked. I was not too sure really because I don't cook duck legs very often.
We need to see your plates on the pass in 1 minute.
1 minute. I was really proud of it. Topped it off with a little bit of greenness. Yep, absolutely proud.
Well done, Colette.
There's nowhere to hide when you plate a dish up like that. You're putting all those elements there for everyone to see. I suppose I was bearing my soul. All the flavours came together, but anything can happen and you have to be prepared for that as well.
Our 2 home cooks and sous chef Jamie have just completed their best versions of the classic dish duck with potatoes and sauce. Judge Mark will now see and taste their dishes for the first time.
Hello.
Hi.
So I'm really, really excited for you to be tasting dishes that just contain so much attention to detail from these 3 fantastic cooks.
This is duck with cherry and Madeira sauce with potato puree and vegetables. Very classic combinations.
Presentation looks a bit odd, actually. It's a bit haphazard, but it all comes down to flavour for me. I can taste that by itself first. Very flavoursome. Seasoned really well. Cooked well too. The sauce.
Can't get enough sauce. I like a really
I like
healthy
heaps
dousing.
of sauce, yeah. I'm a sauce freak.
Yeah.
The sauce is really nice. It cuts through that duck fat. The potato is nice and creamy and that texture is just so smooth on your mouth. And these are really nice crunch through the whole thing as well. All up, the duck's really nice, seasoned really nice. With the cherry and Madeira sauce, look, it's lovely, but you get this punch of Madeira straight in. And I think the balance with the cherry is just a bit out.
This is duck legs with a citrus sauce and Duchess potatoes.
Ooh, duck leg. Isn't that yummy? Making my mouth water already. Blast of the past with those Duchess potatoes. I love the colour of that duck leg. It's beautiful on the outside. Duck leg is so juicy. Could have been done a little bit longer, I think. I think you'd have a hard time ripping that bone out of that and really breaking into it.
So, Mark, how was your blast from the past?
Nice and fluffy on the inside. You've got that little bit of crunch on the outside. Why not bring them back and, showcase what a great style, doing a potato. Overall, great flavour combinations. The duck could have been done a little bit longer, I think, so it was falling off the bone.
This is duck breast with Vichy carrots and Dauphin potatoes.
Dauphin potatoes, aren't they yummy? Everything's sort of mapped out to perfection here. It's all sitting on the plate. Each element is sitting there going, look at me. Looks nice, I can't wait to taste this. The duck's beautiful, melts in your mouth. Seasoned to perfection. It's really, really nice and moist, but there is a fat content in here as well, which you would expect that would be rendered out so that it'd be really crispy. I'm gonna try the potato. Look how light that is. Really nice, really seasoned well. Very aerated inside. It's very light and fluffy, which is you'd expect coming from the choux pastry and rising up in there with the potato. Carrot's beautiful.
You're smiling a lot, Mark. That's usually a good sign.
That's a killer choux too. That is just spot on.
Another tough one.
3 great representations.
All goes down to your decision.
It's crunch time. Our 2 home cooks and sous chef Jamie have battled it out over the French classic duck with potatoes and sauce. And now blind tasting judge Mark will decide if home cooked passion can win out over restaurant technique.
Well, that was an awesome battle. 3rd day of French week, and it's duck, sauce and potatoes, and it was so open to interpretation.
So, Stefan, how do you feel about the experience this evening?
Tonight was lots of pressure because I think everyone was really ready for a challenge. And it's, as we can see, 3 beautiful plates.
So we've got 3 great plates on the pass. Which was your favourite plate?
Look, they're all cracking plates. They all had their own flavour profiles. And for me, the best plate on the pass was this one.
Thanks. Sous chef Jamie. That was your duck breast with Vichy carrots and Dauphin potatoes.
How do you feel, Jamie?
Yeah, really good. It was more also about building on the start that Tara and Tom gave us as well and to continue that on. And plus, I couldn't let them get it over me at work when we go back to the real world. I'll never hear the end of it.
This was a cracking plate. It was really nice. The duck was nice. It was really moist. And that jus was just almost licked it off the plate. Well done.
Thank you.
So we've come to that time where we find out which plate didn't live up to Mark's expectations.
The plate that didn't live up to my expectations was this one.
So sorry, Stefan. That was your duck legs with a citrus sauce and Duchess potatoes.
Well, no, it's fine. Yeah, it's for me interesting because I'm the French one here. So,
Stefan, it all came down to the duck. It was just a little bit underdone. And sorry to see you go home. You've done France really proud.
Well, Colette, that means you are through to the final.
I'm feeling very emotional. I was really expecting to go home. I can't believe it.
Congratulations again to Restaurant Montrachet, another win. And congratulations to Colette. You face off against head chef Shannon. Well done.
I'll get out.
To suddenly being told that I got through, I mean, I took a second and I thought, what? Did they really say that? I'm absolutely delighted.
This week has been a grand battle between 4 home cooks
Well done. Well done.
and one of Brisbane's favourite French restaurants, Montrachet.
Dish tastes exactly the way it should be in the restaurant.
Our home cooks have been competing for the chance to take on owner and head chef Shannon.
I'm a very competitive person.
And now only one home cook is left, business owner and mother of 2, Colette.
I feel very emotional. I was expecting to go home.
I just lose myself in my kitchen. I love French cooking. There's so much to learn. There's new challenges all the time.
Oh, really good.
Once you start to taste French food, you want more of it.
Doesn't get any better than this.
Now she's worked her way up the chef's line to take on head chef Shannon.
French cooking today has changed and it's always evolving. 2 scallops, 1 salmon.
Shannon is head chef and owner of Brisbane restaurant Montrachet.
We make a few types of bread here every morning. Making fresh bread adds a real authenticity to this French restaurant.
Oh, that's a beautiful baguette.
Where French classics sit alongside contemporary delights.
That is just simply beautiful chicken.
A dish like this is the real cornerstone of French cooking.
Will Colette's love and passion for French cuisine be enough to outcook head chef Shannon?
I am super nervous now, and the heart's really beginning to beat and pound in this little chest of mine.
Colette, congratulations for making it into the final.
I am super, super excited. Happy dance going on inside. Fantastic.
Awesome.
Get it on, Shannon. I'm on a roll and I've learned lots from the previous contestants and lots from the chefs here as well tonight, so I'm going to go for it.
Head chef Shannon, how confident are you feeling?
I'm confident I will cook well today. If I don't, when we go home, I'm going to be in for a hard few days.
So Colette, head chef Shannon, we would like to taste your best Vacherin desserts.
Originating from the northeast of France, Vacherin is deceptively light and refreshing, with its layers of creamy ice cream and crisp meringue. The meringue discs are the star and should be thin with a crisp shell and slight chewiness in the centre.
It's the passion of home cooking versus the expertise and technique of a professional chef. Which will impress our judge this evening? Not entirely sure, but that particular judge will be blind taste testing, so they won't know who cooked what. And tonight, that will be you, Dan.
Can't wait to see what I'm going to taste. Awesome.
You both have 90 minutes to get your Vacherins on the pass, so good luck, and let's cook.
I'm a very competitive person, which most chefs are. In the last decade, I've represented Australia twice in the Culinary Olympics. So I guess I've taken it to the extreme level.
The chances of me winning, I haven't even contemplated that. I'm up against the head chef of one of Australia's best French restaurants. What hope have I got? When I was told that we had to cook a Vacherin, I thought, oh, thank goodness, I know what a Vacherin is. It's, I guess, what the French equivalent is to a pavlova.
What I'm doing is pistachio meringue, a bit of chantilly cream, which is beautiful in French, ice cream, strawberries, and finish off with beautiful raspberries and berries, dressed with a gorgeous coulis. Hey, Shannon, I'm tasting. The meringues look good. I've just pinched them. There's no sugar there, so that should be awesome.
I visualized this dish as being rings of beautiful white meringue, and I wanted to put pistachios in there to give it that textural crunch. I usually do great meringue, so that's not bad. And I make lots of ice cream, so okay, this is looking quite good.
And those circles have now gone into the oven at 130. I'm going to give them about 25-30 minutes, hopefully catching them before they actually brown. Looks good, it piped beautifully, so I think it's going to be great.
Head chef Shannon will prepare a more traditional Vacherin from Montrachet's menu.
This dish is really keeping in the true essence of a classical Vacherin. And we have 3 different types of ice cream: vanilla, coffee, and strawberry sorbet. It's in between 2 piped layers of meringue with a fresh whipped cream chantilly, macerated strawberries. Creaming now the yolks and the sugar and vanilla and the dextrose, ready to finish the anglaise. It's the vanilla and the coffee ice cream. It's hard to think about having strawberry and coffee together, but in fact, classically, Vacherin included these ice creams and sorbet. We need to get the temperature right, so we're setting the protein of the yolk. So we need to make sure the anglaise is at 82, 83 degrees, and then we want to hold it at that for at least 2 to 3 minutes to make sure all the protein is set in the yolk, and we should end up with a creamy ice cream. The hardest part of making the Vacherin tonight was to ensure that the ice creams were going to be churned in time. It's a little bit sticking yourself out there because it's 3 different ice creams to churn, not just 1. But I want to make sure we make the Vacherin the way we do at the restaurant, even in the hour-and-a-half time limit.
How you going?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Good. You've had a big week this week.
Yep.
You guys have done really well.
Yeah.
You think the big fella's taking it really serious?
Oh, definitely. You can see the competitive spirit coming out.
It's a really popular dish on the menu.
Yeah, it is. We sell a lot of them.
Yeah.
Really popular. I think the sound of the cream and strawberries and meringue really gets people going.
Yeah.
And you can taste all the individual things. It doesn't sort of just meld into one.
We've all cooked against Colette. How do you think she's going?
She's motoring along. She's a quiet achiever. The little engine that could.
She's been watching you guys
Yeah.
all this week, and
she
she's
has.
picked up little tips along the way.
That's what it's about.
Oh, look,
We haven't come here to destroy people's confidence or anything like that. It's about just enjoying what we see from them and they see from us, and everyone goes home happy.
So what I'm making is my French vanilla ice cream. In here, I've got milk, cream, a little bit of salt, and some vanilla pods to get that real vanilla taste. I've got in here 8 egg yolks that I've actually whisked together. Now, if I tip those straight into here, they'll probably curdle. So what I've done is I've introduced a bit of the hot substance into the eggs, whipped it up, repeated that. So now when these go in there, they should be happy bunnies together. Okay, so look, this custard has got really nice and thick now, and there's a great French technique called napper. And what you do is you pop your spoon in, and then you drag your finger through, and if it doesn't go, it stays parted like the Red Sea, you know it's ready to go. So this is looking good.
Colette.
Hello, hi.
Colette, how you going there,
I'm good. I'm trying to cool this down with the dry ice, which is cold here, and the meringues are heating me up from down here.
This is obviously your anglaise base for your ice cream.
It is, yes.
Yes?
And
Love it.
it's decadently rich. You know, the 8 egg yolks just make it so creamy. It's just gorgeous. And you know, when I make it, the hardest thing is not eating it. It is delicious.
Do you make it often?
I do. But obviously I do it over a longer period of time. So, you know, I want to get this as cold as I can, but time's ticking, so I'm going to have to stop and get it into the ice cream maker soon. The ice cream adds that coldness and that creaminess, so I really wanted that on my dish. I really need my French vanilla ice cream to set.
30 minutes, guys. We've just got under 30 minutes.
It's the final battle of French Week between head chef Shannon and home cook Colette. They're creating the classic French dessert Vacherin, all in an attempt to impress Dan, who will taste and judge their dishes. Okay, so my meringues are in the oven. I've turned the heat off and they're just drying out. Ice cream is finally in that ice cream maker, churning away, getting nice and thick. And I'm just about to start my raspberry coulis.
French recipes require a little bit more discipline and technique to make sure everything's done right. Everything has to be cooked in the right order and the right temperature, and it needs to be really perfect.
Yeah, she's up against some stiff competition. I mean, even I wouldn't like to be on Colette's bench, to be honest with you.
The meringue has to be really white, quite thin in my opinion, quite crispy too. I'm open to any fruit as long as it's really sweet and really juicy. And cream is definitely a main component of the Vacherin. And I'd like to see a little bit of flavour in there too, like a vanilla bean or something like that. I can't wait.
Well, just make sure you leave some for us on the pass.
Can't promise you, mate.
Well, it's good to leave things on a light note, so with that, we'll bid you adieu. Hello, Shannon. How are you?
Hey, Shannon.
You're looking very, very focused in your meringue piping. Tell us a little bit about what your Vacherin dessert is.
So this Vacherin is something I experienced with a lady in a small town called Carcassonne in the southwest of France. 3 ice creams, vanilla, coffee and strawberry. It's really a classical way to serve Vacherin, these 3 different types of ice cream.
What are you doing here now, Shannon?
This is coffee.
Right, okay.
I microplane the coffee onto the meringue, and it's a beautiful little bitterness that goes through the meringue and complements the freshness of the strawberry, the creaminess of the vanilla. Believe it or not, when you have coffee and lime together, it's an amazing flavour. So with the lime zested over the strawberry, with this bitterness of coffee, it's really, really special. For me, a perfect meringue for a Vacherin needs to be nice and crispy, but not crispy all the way through. You don't want it to be something that just crumbles apart in your mouth, and you want that little bit of softness in the centre. It makes it really, really beautiful to eat.
So my pistachio meringue should have been beautiful, white, crispy. It turned out white, undercooked, and a little bit sad.
Colette, how are you going? You just pulled these out of the oven.
I have. I've just taken them out. They're not up to my usual standard. They're usually a little bit crisper.
Right.
And they're normally dry, so I can see that these are a little bit wet still, but time's against me, so I just need to get these off and I'll see what I can do with them.
What I decided to do is I flipped them over, put them on a bit of greaseproof paper, lifted that carefully up and shoved them back in the oven upside down. They need to be crispy. Soggy meringue's not good, and if they needed to get brown, so be it.
One thing I learnt a lot in the last several years cooking in France is to really work and concentrate on seasonings, dressings, flavours that really enhance the flavour of the main ingredient you're trying to bring to the forefront. So the main garnish with the fruit, with my Vacherin is the strawberry, and I find with the zested lime and a little bit of icing sugar, it really makes the strawberry amazing and really punch in your mouth. So the strawberry doesn't get lost through all the ice creams and sorbets and meringue. The strawberry will really jump out at you. Okay, now just making a cream chantilly with some fresh vanilla. And then I will macerate the strawberries and cross my fingers for the ice cream, and I'm ready to plate.
Under 5 minutes, guys. You need to start plating soon. 5 minutes and under.
Hey, Shannon.
Yes?
How's the ice cream going?
Oh, getting there.
Yeah? Is yours getting nice and cold?
Really needed my French vanilla ice cream to set. Came out, I put my finger in, I thought, you beauty.
Keep your cool, Colette. You're almost there.
So when it came to plating, I was worried about whether my stack would become tipsy-topsy, but I started off the chantilly cream, held it in place, I built it up, and it started to look gorgeous.
You've got a minute left, guys. 1 minute. Hustle. Ten seconds.
Yeah, well done.
It's magnificent. It looked absolutely amazing. Each of those components were fantastic, but they did taste yummy.
I'm happy with the work that I've produced, and whatever happens, we've all had a great time here. I guess my main concern is if I don't win, I'm going to not hear the end of this for the next couple of weeks, at least.
Head chef Shannon and last home cook standing Colette have just crafted their versions of the French dessert Vacherin. And now blind tasting judge Dan will taste their dishes.
Hello.
Hi, Dan.
You missed quite the intense final battle for French Week.
They look like 2 textbook Vacherins. You know, one a lot more refined than the other, but I can't wait to tuck in.
Pistachio, vanilla and raspberry Vacherin.
It looks great. I mean, look, you can see the layers of meringue and nice raspberry cooling on the side, and I love the presentation, very classic.
It's a very reassuring crunch. Are the flavours there?
The flavours are totally there. I love the sweetness of that meringue. The addition of ice cream was a nice touch. I love that contrast in temperature as well. And the cream was whipped nicely. I love the raspberry coulis to counteract that sweetness of the meringue. And the pistachios gave a nice crunch. I just thought the meringue was a little brown, you know, not that sort of glossy white meringue that I would expect from a French Vacherin. But it's not a deal breaker because the flavour is all there.
On to the next one.
Dan, this is coffee, vanilla and strawberry Vacherin.
Well, it's a very pretty Vacherin, and that's what I expect a Vacherin to look like. A spiral style of meringue going from the inside to the outside. It's very European, very French, and it looks really good.
Tuck in.
It's almost a shame to break a meringue that pretty.
So satisfying though. And this is a sorbet.
This is a strawberry sorbet, a vanilla ice cream, and a coffee ice cream.
Okay, well, I'm going to try it all together.
It's called a Neapolitan.
The meringue is perfect. It's nice and glossy, it's white. A very well refined and executed Vacherin we have here. Each ice cream has a beautiful texture. It's really smooth, and that strawberry sorbet is so delicious with that lime through it.
So how was it all together?
I just thought it was maybe one too many flavours with the addition of that coffee. Strawberry, lime, vanilla would be enough.
Well, Dan, the decision that you're about to make tonight is huge. It's the final of French Week, one home cook, the head chef. They're really playing for keeps here.
Well, if, you know, there's one really refined Vacherin and one really rustic Vacherin, so it's going to be tough.
Home cook Colette and head chef Shannon have just cooked the classic French dessert Vacherin. Judge Dan has tasted both creations and is ready to announce the winner.
What an end to a fantastic French week. We always had huge expectations, and tonight you guys certainly did not disappoint.
Colette, how do you think you went?
I think the plate looked pretty, and I think the components all tasted really nice.
So what was it like cooking against head chef Shannon from Montrachet?
It was actually wonderful because I was behind him, so I could see what he was doing. So controlled. I'd love to be like that. Hugely, hugely inspirational.
Shannon, how did everything come together for you tonight?
I actually had fun. I didn't take on the pressure too much at all.
Your chefs have had a win all week. How important would it be to continue that?
It would be nice, of course, but when you compete, you're always competing against yourself. So you really want to make sure that what you put up to the pass at the end of your time is perfect, and if you can achieve that, then you have won anyway.
Now that crucial time in the evening, Dan, please tell us, which was your favourite?
It was probably one of the toughest decisions I've ever had to make. It really came down to my palate. And for me, the best plate on the pass is pistachio, vanilla and raspberry Vacherin.
Wow!
When I tasted your Vacherin, it had the perfect balance of flavours, the acidity from the raspberry coulis and the richness of that ice cream, and the pistachio meringue added that perfect crunch. You should be really proud of yourself because it was absolutely delicious, and well done. That is a delicious Vacherin.
Fantastic, wow. Oh, wow, thank you so much.
Head Chef Shannon, that was a perfectly executed Vacherin. Your meringue was perfectly glossy, perfectly crunchy. The vanilla ice cream was textbook creamy, and that strawberry sorbet with that lime in there was really, really refreshing. I just thought with the addition of the coffee ice cream, it was just, for me, one too many flavours on the plate. It was a wonderful, wonderful dish. What do you think of how Colette's done?
Congratulations. Well done, good effort.
Thank you.
I'm a good winner, but I'm also a good loser, so good on you, Colette. Hopefully one time I'll be able to get to taste her Vacherin.
Well, what a fittingly dramatic end to an incredible week of celebrating French food. 4 incredible dishes from one of the best French restaurants in the country. That was a huge treat for us. But, Colette, you managed to put the best plate on the parcel. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And you get this trophy.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Well done, yeah.
Me winning against a head chef of a great restaurant. Wow. I shall treasure that.